How is Sonic the thing that I'm like, oh, finally, a video game project that's good? Welcome back, everyone. Knuckles is good. What the heck? So I really wanted to watch this when it came out, but then I got distracted with other shows, and I'm so glad that the Sonic 3 trailer got me pumped enough to want to go back and watch the Sonic movies and then also check out Knuckles. A lot of you were saying in the comments on my Sonic 3 trailer reaction that I didn't need to watch Knuckles if I didn't want to, and other people in chat were like, yeah, it's like not a must watch, I think, for Sonic 3. So like if you don't want to watch it, like don't watch it. But Sonic 2 you probably will need to watch before Sonic 3. But I was intrigued. I'm interested. I love Idris Elba, so I wanted to check out Knuckles. And obviously after watching Sonic 2, I was like, okay, well, now I'm like a Knuckles fan. Now I'm becoming a Knuckles fan. What's happening to me? So I went and watched the show, and I'm not gonna lie, I did have high expectations because I came out of it with the hype from Sonic 2, and Sonic 2 just blew my mind with how good it continued to be. So how did I feel about Knuckles? Knuckles made me love Knuckles even more. I didn't think it was possible. And this show really made me love this character. I love the parallels between Knuckles and Wade that we get in the show and their connection and how they come together and become friends. I thought it was really, really cute and really sweet. And I kind of saw them setting it up in the beginning, and I was like, oh, they both lost their dads, but in different ways. And I just love that they have that connection and that relationship, and kind of seeing their relationship bloom gave me Sonic 1 feels, because we kind of get that connection between Tom and Sonic. And to see Knuckles and Wade come together in a similar way was very gratifying and just reminded me of that first movie, which I really, really love. I think this show is really good. I do feel like it's also the perfect length, which I don't think is easy to do in this day and age. Everyone has sort of a set number of episodes in mind, and then they try to fill them, I feel like is how a lot of shows are made today. And this is 6 episodes, and it feels like 6 episodes is really perfect for the show. So I do think it does a good job with the episodes that it has in terms of just the pacing and just the story that it sets out to tell. 6 is like a perfect number. I also like that the episodes are shorter. I like that they're like, not like a full hour. It's like around the 25-minute mark. The one thing I do feel is I do feel that this show is more targeted towards kids than Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 are in terms of the films. I think this movie is very much knows the audience is going to be a lot of kids watching this because kids love Knuckles. And I will say that that made it not as enjoyable for me as the movies, just because it did feel a little bit more juvenile. Like some of the relationships in this don't really feel real. They feel like a little too big, a little too much of like a caricature. Like the rivalry between Wade and his sister Wanda is just like so ridiculous. But I will say I love that once again, this show commits to just how goofy and how childlike a lot of the things in it are. And although I am not a kid, I did still really enjoy the show and find it fun. So I do think as an adult, you can still watch it and you'll like it. But I would say some adults might be turned off by the fact that it does feel a little bit more juvenile than the films, which feel more family focused, whereas this feels more like, I don't know, I want to say like the demographic, maybe like 8-year-olds and younger for in terms of the kids that they want to be watching this show. It definitely feels like a younger demographic for this show. But this show also has a musical episode. And you know me, I love a musical episode. And I love how the music ties into the story and everything. They really made it a musical episode that weirdly made sense, but also this show is like even more off the wall than Sonic 1 and 2 combined. And so I love how goofy it is. I don't know if they upped the goofy factor because there's no Jim Carrey in this project, so they were just trying to like balance it out by making the actual story and some of the ways that the story unfolds being more goofy and some of the characters in this to compensate for a lack of Jim Carrey, but it's really fun. I did think with one of the female antagonists that we have here, Willoughby, who is a former researcher who was working for Gunn, and she ends up going to work for the buyer, who is the main villain here, who's played by Rory McCann, who's a great actor. I mean, I really love Rory McCann. I just feel like they didn't give him enough to do. The character didn't have enough depth to compare to Dr. Robotnik. But like I said, this also feels like it's targeting a younger demographic. So I think the thing that they were thinking is also like, we don't need to have as much depth because we're not really intending to be for an older audience, but older audiences can still watch it. But that is something that I was missing from it. And I mean, they still have an amazing cast. They have so many good people once again in this project. Not everybody came back that was in the Sonic movies, of course. We do get to see Maddie, but we don't get to see Tom. We do get to see Sonic. We do get to see Miles, but just briefly. So they do kind of take us to Reno, take us to a different location. I feel like to create that distance, to have reasons to not have those characters in the show. At the same time, Christopher Lloyd is in this. Christopher Lloyd is the voice of the deceased elder who is providing guidance to Wade and returns as a ghost. And Pachacamac, am I saying that right? Man, it's a tongue twister. I'm gonna tell you, it's a tongue twister. Wade struggles too, and so do I. But Christopher Lloyd being in this was insane to me. Like, just hearing his voice, I was like, why do these projects get so many amazing people? Money, probably. But also, I have to imagine that when people are reading these scripts, they see something in there that they think is fun. And to be fair, the whole series was really fun, or season 1. I don't know if there's going to be another season, but I would watch it. I'm just going to finish this with one more thing that I really loved, which was the title sequence. I did not skip it any time. I love that it's animated. I thought it was so cute, and I love that they chose I Am the Warrior as the song because it's so fitting. It's so fitting in so many ways. Like the era, which feels like it's kind of a callback to Wade's time as a kid, and a lot of this is exploring like his unresolved issues from his childhood, his stuff with his dad. Also, how is Carrey Elwes his dad? What the heck is happening? Once again, talk about some great casting. The fact that Carrey's in here as his dad is insane to me. And also, Carrey looks so good. Like, dang, Carrey's looking great. He gets older, he looks even better as time goes on, I feel. But it also, that title sequence is really fun because obviously I Am the Warrior is relating to Knuckles being a warrior. So it's just like a really upbeat, fun version of that idea. It makes it something that you as a kid would be like, yeah, I am the warrior. And it's not a scary thing. It's just an inspiring thing. I love that. Perfectly encompasses the vibe of Knuckles. So overall, what would I give Knuckles Season 1? I think I would give Knuckles Season 1 a solid 3 out of 5. I'm thinking maybe a 4, but I just feel because it's missing some of those elements of depth, it doesn't have as much going on as the films does, but it's still a really fun story, and I definitely would still recommend to people that they watch it. So that's also why I'm kind of like leaning towards a 4, because I feel like if you say 3 out of 5, then people are like, oh, I can skip it. Like people said to me, you can skip it. I don't think it's necessary that you watch it, but I think if you watch it, you're going to have a really fun time. And I think it's very entertaining, and I would definitely recommend it in that way. I don't know if I'm going to go back and watch it again, but I might go and revisit certain episodes. The other thing is that the fight scenes in this why are they so good? Like, there's a whole fight scene they have at Wade's mom's house, and they have this whole fight that's around the table, and it's like a rotating shot of just everyone fighting everyone and people coming in and out, and it is so good, and they're just destroying the kitchen. It's just a really fun concept, and once again, I just feel like they just didn't phone it in. They let it be a cool action sequence. So it's even got some cool action sequences in it. Also, the fight scene between Wade and the other gun agent, Mason, it's another great fight scene. So like I said, it's a 3 out of 5, but it's a very solid 3 out of 5. So I would recommend checking it out because I think there are a few episodes in here that could be ones that you'd want to rewatch, but I don't know if the whole show is that. Also, why is Michael Bolton in this? Why everyone's in this? Like, what's happening? Michael Bolton is the singing voice for Knuckles. When Wade is Knuckles in the musical episode where he's going through his story to learn out where a warrior's strength lies, which is not in his fists, but in his heart. Anyways, Knuckles is great. You should watch it. If you haven't watched it, I would recommend you check it out. Let me know down in the comments what you think of Knuckles. Have you watched it? Have you not watched it? Why? Why not? If you did watch it, did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you feel it was too juvenile? Do you feel like it's just the right amount? And, you know, if you are one of those younger audience members, or if you know someone that is, let me know what their thoughts were on it, because I feel like this is really for them. And also, something that I loved about watching the Sonic movies was just being in a theater with families and getting to hear like just the sheer delight of kids who had come to the theater, like really loving Sonic. There's something that just like warms my heart. I don't know. It reminds me of what it's like to be a kid and just enjoy stuff and not have to worry about whether or not someone else thinks you should like something or shouldn't like something. Simpler times, and you can just be free and have fun. And on that note, that's all I have to say about Knuckles right now. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Like I said, let me know your thoughts. I'll see you next time. And until then, friends, stay nerdy.